Hey guys, Jiggly here with a Holy Paladin guide today. So this is mainly for PvP. I'm going to run through the current changes that happened. So we got a bit of a mana nerf on our spells, and we got some problems with our mana efficiency, if that makes sense. So obviously they increased the mana per Holy Shock to 200 more, and the Holy Light. What the fuck? Oh wow, they increased that too. So they've increased. Wow, that's useless as now. Look at that, 2,200 mana. You never want to use that. So yeah, basically today I'm just going to run you through my gear setup, my talent build, my conduits, my legendaries, a couple of the macros I use, a couple of the strategies I use to reserve my mana as much as I can, the do's and don'ts, things to keep in mind, just, you know, just a rough indication of what to do. So I'm currently a duelist heal. I'm struggling this season to get Glad, believe it or not. So yeah, anyways, I'll run you through my setup. So I have crit verse for most of my gear. For gem slots I use verse. Enchants I use the stamina on my cloak. Enchant for my chest I use the intellect and the 6% mana. The 15 intellect on the braces, Celestial's Guidance. All these enchants you can get in the auction house, which I'll show at the end of the video. But yeah, you pretty much go full out crit verse. If you can't get crit verse, go haste verse. Don't go monster verse. There's only two legendaries you really need right now. If you're playing a Kyrian, that would be the Shock Barrier. Shock Barrier pretty much gives you a shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing damage equal to 20% of your Holy Shock every 6 seconds. So that's your Holy Shock spell here. Basically it is a shield, gold shield. And that's what it looks like, it gives you an absorb shield. That's why I play Kyrian, because Divine Toll gives 5 Holy Shocks. So if you got in a team 3 and you press Divine Toll, all of them get a little shield for 18 seconds. It's also good for PvP, PvE raids, so forth. It heals for a fuck ton. It's good as well for damage. You can spam that shit. Yeah, anyways, I'll go back to what we're talking about. So this ring you can get from BOE farm, or you can get it from auction house as well. They sell them for about 190k. I've also got verse enchants for this one and that one. Other legendaries I use I don't really use it, but I have it. But yeah, Reign of the Endless Kings, it's pretty much a 50% damage reduction every 45 seconds when you're below 20% health. It's kind of good. I use it for double melee sometimes, but I still think Holy Shock Barrier is the way to go. Sinful Gladiator Emblem, the health is important, and I'll get to why. It works really well with your File of Serenity when it heals you. Always Gladiator Medallion. I don't use anything else. Talents. These are pretty much my talents. I only use that for Raid and PvE. The Crusader's Might. Bestow I always use for PvP. I don't even know why we have Light's Hammer. It's dog shit. 25 row, Saved by the Light, Judgment of Light, Holy Prism. I use Judgment for Raid, but Saved by the Light pretty much for PvP. I don't really use it. Like, that's pretty much what I use it for, nothing else. The 30 row, you pretty much want to use all these spells when you have access. So like Blinding Light, I'll always use for double melee. Repentance, always when I verse against a Holy Pala. Blinding I will use with a verse against a heal druid, so I always hodge and blind. Fist of Justice I'll always use with a Death Knight or a warrior, depending on the situation again, depending what type of heal it is, or like if we need the smaller hodges, then yeah, I'll use the Fist. 35 row, I will not bother using Unbreakable Spirit anymore, the games go too fast with the damage. Usually 90% of the time I'll have Cavalier, 95% of the time. The only time I'll use Rule of Law is if I'm versing against a Warlock and Shadow Priest team where the slow is bullshit and I can't use Cavalier to get across. So I'll use Rule of Law to get the range and the extra healing to top up my team. Divine Purpose is pretty much 90% of my games. Sometimes in twos I troll and use Seraphim. But yeah, this one here you kind of need right now because of the mana issues going on. It's the fact that it gives a free ability and deals 20% extra damage and healing is a lot. Verse in the 45 row, the 45 tree here, Sanctified Wrath I'll use for double melee teams. If it's a heal and melee, I'll use Awakening. In the 50 rows, Glimmer of Light is always for rated BGs, always for Mythic Plus and for Raid. Beacon of Faith is always for 2s and 3s, wouldn't change it for anything else. I haven't really tried Beacon of Virtue, I've heard it's alright, but I think Glimmer will always be a better pick, to be honest. PvP talents, these are the 3 I usually pick now. I used to use Ultimate Sacrifice, but the fact that they've nerfed it down to 6 seconds makes it kind of dog shit. Divine Vision got a nerf, so I don't even bother using that either. I don't see the value. Like Aura Mastery is 3 minutes. It's the same with Incarnation and all those major spells for like casters. It might be good for maybe if you're with a mage. I don't know. I forgot how long Combustion was. I don't really play with a mage. But yeah, I usually use Blessed Hands. Cleanse a Weak I'll always use against a Shaman to get rid of the 100% crit from the dots. It's good versus rogues too, it will piss off a rogue trying to keep poison on. Sometimes I might use Avenging Light depending on pressure, but yeah, most of the time it's Cleanse the Weak or Blessed Hands. 90% now Blessed Hands. So yeah, that's kind of how I run. Usually run like that most of my time. But yeah, that's usually the build. What else I'll show? I think Legendaries. Sorry, I'm a bit blurry today, I'm out of it. So, Legendaries, yeah, Shock Barrier is the way to go. Mad Paragon is fucking OP right now, so if you're venthyr, they tend to pick the Mad Paragon to Scenic with, because then you get the 2 Judgment in the Ashen Hollow, and your damage is huge. Like, we're talking big dick damage. Like, I saw one Holy Pala hit me for 2 15k hits. That's how hard it hits. That's 30k of my health. That's a lot for a healer. So yeah, like if you're a venthyr, then yeah, they usually pick Mad Paragon. But if you're a kyrian, you'll always pick Shock Barrier, despite the slight nerf in what they did. The Covenants, I pretty much will always pick Pelagos now. Not so much for this spell, the Combat Meditation, I don't really care about it. It's a mastery boost, it's pretty much for the proximity of your healing, so the range of where the range of you and your partner is, the more you heal obviously. So you got to keep that in mind. So that's why I'm using Light's Barding to get my range in place all the time. That mobility, it's kind of important. That duration's long too. You can like fly across to pillar with that. The main reason why you want to pick Pelagos right now though is because 55% healing, like it says 35% here, but because the file, if you don't pick this, is 20, which I'll show you. If you have a look down here on the right, you'll see the icon here. It says restores 55% health over 10 seconds and instantly removes diseases, poison, curses, and bleeds affecting you. So this thing here is kind of like a restore tick over 10 seconds, and 55% of your health is kind of huge. So if I'm like, so say for instance I use my Gladiator Medallion, which is the one here. It increases my health by 16k for 20 seconds. So I made a macro, so every time I use this file, I go to 57 kind of, 56k health. I get around 26k health back in 10 seconds. So like, if you want to like apply pressure to a healer, and you can't really focus on healing yourself. You want to keep pumping that guy. That's kind of what it's for. It's kind of good as well if you kind of have to like reserve your mana as much as you can. You can use this file to heal yourself up. LOS, shield, line of sight, shield, line of sight, you know. It's kind of strong. I kind of like that spell so much. Anyways, we'll keep going. Shielding words, it's good, but it's not like, wow. It gives a shield which gets broken pretty much instantly, but it's still a shield that takes damage, you know, like it's something that you kind of want to have. The ringing clarity is really OP right now. If they nerf this, then it might be useless, but right now, whenever you use like a holy shock, you'll get another 3. So if I'm like, for instance, using ringing clarity and I crit for like 9k, I could get 27k healing off that, which is kind of big. Echoing blessings, basically what that is so when the bop ends, it will cancel out and then it will give a damage reduction for 8 seconds, which is kind of nice. Same with Blessing of Freedom, if you cancel it, it will show you the movement speed increased by 8% after the effectors end. That is so nice for your DPS to get to the target. It helps them a lot. The other builds that I use, so this ain't really worth anything. It's just spell reduction. It does help us like shamans and mages a little bit, but it's not like, wow. Yeah, my Clayer build, like, I don't use it anymore. Like, I'm not really above 90% health anymore for this. You're rarely out of combat now. They usually pump you the whole game, so this is kind of useless. This is nice. The healers have to dispel this, or else it's a permanent fucking slow. It is disgusting how slow you are with this unless you don't get dispelled. So this is probably like the only real reason why you want to play this build. This used to be alright, but now it's like average. This is nice versus warlocks. I haven't really played it though. Some people like Bronn. I'll tell you why I don't like Bronn. Like, he has his ups and downs. He's fantastic versus double melee, as he knocks the target back, gives you some, you know, some breathing space. But the problem with Bronn is, if you use him in 3s, there's like 2 melees and a healer, and he pops and you need to get mana and drink. You're in combat, you can't cancel him out in your buffs and debuffs, so he sits active for 30 seconds in combat and you can never get a drink. It's a pain in the ass. So that's something you've got to keep in mind. And then this one here, it's kind of nice. It automatically will heal you like a Hearthstone when you drop below 35%, so you don't have to think. But also keep in mind, this has also got a downfall. So let's say, for instance, the Shadow Priest mind games you, then this thing pops, you're fucking dead. Because this thing is like an error waiting to happen. So that's something you got to keep in mind. You don't really want to use this versus a Shadow Priest or a Priest team with mind games. It's dangerous. These two, it doesn't really matter what you pick. It does fuck all. I just have this here to reduce fears, like from warlocks and priests. Whenever you're when reduced by 35% health, you're stunned by enemies for 3 seconds. This has DR, you got to keep in mind. So it can have some positives and negatives. It stuns all enemies that are near you for 3 seconds. If you're going to use this, use blinding light. So then you can go 3 seconds and 6 seconds. So if you use stun, then yeah, you're obviously going to get DR. But the blind, for some reason, doesn't affect the DR for the spell. So it's nice. I use this sometimes with rogue and like sub-rogues, this build. And it seems to work really well. Yeah. But yeah, 90% of the time I'll use Pelagos now. Yeah. So yeah, I use Pelagos. What else do I need to tell you guys? I think that's it. Oh yeah, I just got the macro pretty much. That's pretty much it. So I've got the macro for the file. That's pretty much it. Like, I used to have a burst window. When I first started playing Paladin in the season, I used the other one. So I was using this Sinful Gladiator badge for the extra primary stats, and it's nice. But the thing is now, with this whole update in the meta, with mana burning, you just can't really afford to be spamming as many spells as you want to. It's good for healing, the crit's nice, but you get way more value out of that Sinful Gladiator emblem, to be honest. The fact that it heals you for half your health is insane. Half healing, it's a bit big. So that's, like, yeah. There's nothing really else I can tell you guys, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it's helped you out a little bit. Yeah, if I get any updates on some changes, yeah, I'll definitely post some stuff up, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So, yeah. Thank you guys. Peace.